Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stonk Report. It's been about a week, and I apologize for that. I am self employed. I have two grocery businesses, and believe it or not, my businesses, fourth quarter, Christmas time, even for groceries, it is just as busy as for toys, for anything else, believe it or not. So it's been crazy for me, but I'm back. I also went to California for a wedding and came back, and that was crazy because California is pretty locked down right now. I didn't know those things before going there, how bad it was there in comparison to where I'm at in the country. So anyway, Stonk Report. Please, a great way for you to support this channel is to like and subscribe. I also want to let you know I am on TikTok, and it's been amazing. And so if you are on TikTok, look up Stonk Report at Stonk Report on TikTok. I'm making some great videos, some 1-minute stock analysis, and I'm loving it. I've gotten great feedback from that. Today I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about Bitcoin. I have been debating whether or not to talk about Bitcoin on a stock channel, but you know what? Guys, I'm heavily into Bitcoin. And Ethereum and XRP. I would say more than half of my portfolio, which I'll share my portfolio one day, but more than half of my portfolio is in crypto. And for me to not talk about it on this channel, I think that's just not right. If you haven't been following Bitcoin recently, I mean, look at this. We broke through the all-time high this week, and immediately after breaking through the all-time high, this thing just plowed through 21,000, 22,000. It's been hanging around 23,000 for a while. Now I'm going to change it. Let's see, a 4-hour chart here. And so it's been doing this for quite a while. So it was around 19,000, 18, 19,000 for several weeks, and then it busted through, and nobody's surprised by this. It just, when are we going to break through? We've finally done it, and now we're in uncharted territory, and we're in this price discovery mode. And guys, I would highly encourage you to get into Bitcoin. I made a 1-minute stonk report video on my TikTok. Actually, I'm going to share it right now. All right, check this out. 1-minute stocks by the Stonk Report. We need to talk about Bitcoin. Yeah, I know it's not a stock, but Bitcoin just broke through its all-time high, and I personally believe it has much more room to grow. First of all, comparing Bitcoin to the US dollar, the dollar has lost 96% of its purchasing power since the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913, mostly because there's a seemingly endless supply and the US government can print the dollar at will. In comparison, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. Second, every 4 years, Bitcoin has a halving, which means that the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined is cut in half. Currently, that number is 900 Bitcoin a day. The halving schedule has historically been followed by rapid growth and eventually a parabolic run. After the July 2016 halving, the price of Bitcoin steadily rose until things went crazy in December of 2017, and the price accelerated to $20,000 a Bitcoin. At this time in 2016, the price of a Bitcoin was approximately $780. If we follow the same pattern, the price of a single Bitcoin will rise to well over $100,000 in 2021. Personally, I believe that this will happen. And where will Bitcoin go throughout the 2020s?
$1 million.
Honestly, that's my bet. All right, so Bitcoin. Here are some things about Bitcoin that I love, and things that I think you should take a look at. All right, I'm going to refresh this page. It's a little bit lower than $22,900 right now. All right, 22,909. But check out this screen that's going to load here, the trend data for Bitcoin. I have this extension on my chart here. You can see 2017, if you follow my mouse here, this is global searches for Bitcoin. 2017, it went parabolic, almost hit $20,000. And man, look at that. The search interest went crazy the weekend, the week before Christmas. And then look at it now. We've broken through this all-time high, and it's just barely a blip right now. And that's the thing, one of the things that has me excited about this is we're not there yet. Now, I said in that video, I believe this year we're reaching 6 figures. And honestly, I mean, if it goes like 2017, it'll skyrocket and then it'll crash. So the question is, what is it going to crash to? In my opinion, it's going to crash to a number close to 6 figures. Give or take, a few $10,000. I mean, you look at it compared to now, it's when it rises up to wherever it goes up to and then crashes, $22,000 Bitcoin. You buy Bitcoin at $22,000, you'll be looked at as some kind of wizard. It's never going to come back here. And so why should you love Bitcoin? Well, look at this. Nigeria is now the number 2 Bitcoin market on this fast-growing global marketplace. We have the luxury, if you live in the United States or in a well-developed country, we have the luxury of comparing Bitcoin to our currency and not even really thinking about the fact that Bitcoin is so much safer than how we're spending our money. But places like Nigeria, places like Venezuela, crypto is not only a safe haven, it's relief, it's loss prevention. It's so much more significant because you think about Venezuela. I mean, you can see trash can fulls of 10,000 whatever their banknote is, and that trash can full of their currency is worth a few bucks. And so when countries that don't have as reliable of currencies as the dollar or the euro or the pound, when they see their currency crashing, this is what's happening, is that they're able to flee to Bitcoin and preserve their wealth. I mean, this is such a game changer for these countries. And if you care about the poor and the needy and the marginalized, care about crypto. Because crypto it's a game changer. It's a disruptor. You know, just like Netflix to Blockbuster, just like Amazon to bookstores. I could go on and on. You know, all these things. It's like that. It's a disruptor to fiat currency. And what is fiat currency? All it is. It's control. You know, it's to turn its people into a sock puppet. And so you have countries like Nigeria where the people don't have to depend on their banks. You know, a lot of these people can't even get bank accounts. They can't prove their identity. And so what do? They have to depend on their country's fiat currency. And instead now, all they need is an internet connection, and they can retreat to Bitcoin with these same people who couldn't even open a bank account. Are you kidding me? So if you care about these people, be bullish on crypto, not just on Bitcoin, but I would say primarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. The other ones I'm not so sure about. There's some good ones, but there's also a lot of trash out there. All right. So another thing that excites me about this run right now is if you've been following the news, big investors have been getting into crypto. I'm hearing about it every day. And I'm talking about Guggenheim, one of the richest families in the world, buying $500 million, I think it's million, $500 million of crypto. You have MicroStrategies, a company, probably a good company to invest in. I mean, I actually have a couple shares of MicroStrategies. They are leaving the dollar. All of their dollars they're converting to Bitcoin. And there's so many more. I could go on and on about this. But that's a wise strategy because the dollar, study up on this. We have run our course with the dollar. And so people are fleeing. And I wouldn't be surprised if a year or a year and a half from now, the dollar is worth 20% less than what it's worth now. And you want to bet again, crypto only has increased in value. The dollar, since 1913, has lost 96% of its value. Since 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standards, it's crashed. You want to bet on crypto or the dollar? Where would you rather store your wealth? My bet's on crypto, especially Bitcoin, especially Ethereum, especially XRP. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Palantir. I know Palantir's been hovering. It's been staying steady like this for a while. Guys, I am still bullish on Palantir. It's just we're so impatient, you know. I'm sorry. I made a video saying that I thought Palantir would go to $50 by the end of this month. That's not looking likely. I wasn't expecting this kind of hype. And if there has been a great deal of hype, what I wasn't expecting, honestly, was that people would still, to this day, not shut up about this stock. People are still talking about it. I mean, let me change this to a month here. Look, for the last 3, 4 weeks, it's just been steady. It hasn't really moved. And yet, people are still talking about this. And what I'm waiting for is people to shut up, to give up on Palantir so that the stock will increase. I'm telling you, I am long Palantir. I've given those numbers, those percentages. If you watch my solo video on this particular stock, I give the reasons why I'm bullish on this. Nothing has changed. And so when will people stop talking about it? I don't know. But whether or not they stop talking about it, here's the deal. Earnings is coming. I have a prediction that we're going to see a 60 to 70% jump in earnings from the last fourth quarter, a year ago. And I'm sticking with that. And I think that the jumps are going to, that it's going to increase. The rate of increase is going to increase. And so I'm long on this. I mean, I have calls expiring in November. I have calls expiring in June or July, I think. I don't remember. I'm sticking with it. And this is going to be lucrative, not just for me, but for all the people who just won't shut up about this company. So just wait, I guess. Just wait for the buzz to die down so we can actually have a stock instead of this casino that we have with Palantir. All right, next. Hey, there's a subject I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and this is really going to be the last of it. And it's this question: is the stock market a bubble right now? I think most of us, you watching this, that you would say yes, no doubt, it's a bubble. And you're absolutely right. Now, but I want to be a little bit of a contrarian here. Okay. We have Ron Paul. I love Ron Paul. I'm a big Ron Paul fan, and I'm going to be a contrarian to Ron Paul, which I'm going to tell you guys is dangerous territory. But Ron Paul says it here. It's the biggest financial bubble in the history of monetary policy. Is Ron Paul right? Yes, maybe. Okay, go ahead. Sell all your stocks. It's the biggest financial bubble in the history of monetary policy. Are you willing to sell your stocks? Are you willing to get out of all your calls? I'm willing to bet that not many of you are. Why? Because, yeah, this is a bubble. I mean, it's being propped up by quantitative easing. It's being propped up by all this stimulus, not only happening in the United States. In Canada, they're getting $2,000 a month, 2,000 Canadian dollars, but still, it is being propped up by all this, by low to negative interest rates. Yes, it's a bubble. But, since quantitative easing was launched after the 2008 crisis, they've propped up the stock market, and they've done it quite successfully. I know that can't go on forever, but it could go on for quite a while. Now, that's a dangerous game to play, I know. But honestly, if they just said they were going to stop right now, they were going to stop with the quantitative easing, they were going to stop with the stimulus, they were just going to stop with all these awful interest rates. All right, let it crash. What we have seen to be true is that crashes are tremendous buying opportunities. But okay, here's where I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate to Ron Paul. All right, let's go back to 1987. 1987, Black Monday, the stock market crash of 1987. It went from, I believe, $2,500 down to a little under $2,000. The Dow did. And that was an awful day, but they recovered pretty quickly. Now, I want to take a look at the Dow historically here, all the way back to 1915, 75, a little lower than that, dollars a share. All the way up to 1929 before the huge crash. We'll never experience a crash like this. I really believe that. I believe we'll never experience a crash like the one in 1929. So it went down from 380, big crash, to $380 to $44. That's almost a 80%, 80 to 90% drop. That is crazy. And then it took how long? About 30 years or so 25 years to get back above that 1929 crash. We will never see that again. Never again. I mean, maybe the world will end and then we'll see it, but who knows? But as long as there is a stock market, as long as businesses exist and they are traded publicly, we will never see that. And I'm going to make my case. Okay, let's keep going here. And then we see this stagnant period here from December 1965, a high of a little under $1,000 that proved to be some major resistance to, man, could you imagine 17 years of the stock market just kind of being blah. Warren Buffett was in long before that, and he made plenty of gains while the market did nothing. But 17 years, and again, I am going to say we are never going to see that again. All right, let's go to 1987. 1987, if you're following along here, 25, Black Monday came, and pow, 1800. Okay, so it lost about 25% that year. And then how long did it take to get back? 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years. And then something happened, and I'm sure Ron Paul is thinking about this. I don't know how much he's considering this. What came about around this time? You know, early 90s. You already know what I'm talking about, the internet. And what did the internet provide that it didn't provide before, that wasn't available before? It provided access. But not only did it provide access, it provided global access to something that was limited to a very small amount of people. I mean, my father died at the age of, believe it or not, at the age of 73 in 1992. I am willing to bet that he never owned a single stock in his life. And could you imagine, I mean, how many people does that apply to today? I'm sure the percentage of people who are in the stock market in some way has grown significantly. And so we see that. This is a result, the booming 90s where it got above $10,000, above $11,000. That was the result of global access being given to people. Now, yes, it did crash after that. But look at that crash. It went down to about, in the sixes, I remember. I know this chart. It went in the sixes, the Dow did. But look at 2002 compared to 1994. So 8 years before that, it was about half of what it was in 2002. That is tremendous. Doubling the Dow in 8 years. And then, we saw some growth, and then the financial collapse in 2008 went all the way down to about 6,700 in March of 2009, and then boom again. Now this from 2009 until today. How much of that is quantitative easing? How much of that is because we're propping up the stock market? A significant amount, but again. You got to think about access again, because, all right, I invested 10, 15 years ago, but you know how I invested? I had an E-Trade account, and E-Trade charged me $10 per transaction. And so when I wanted to buy or sell a stock, I really had to think about it, because, man, if I invested $600, no, let me just do easy math here. I invest $500 in a company I believe in. They're taking $10 for me to buy that stock. They're taking 2% for me to buy a stock. That is ridiculous. So even something like E-Trade, it's outdated nowadays. I mean, those kind of commissions on a single trade, another $10 for me to get out. And so what came? Well, Robinhood. And what came with Robinhood and Webull, and there's companies like this, commission-free trading. And so what does that offer us? That means that a lot of us with our cell phones, we just pull up our cell phones and we can do things that we would have never dreamed of happening before. And we can do it without needing to worry about commissions. We can do what we want when we want to do it. And this has provided access to a whole nother group of people, to a much younger crowd. I mean, the stock market used to be something that your grandfather did, and your father when he's about to retire. But now we have all these young investors, and we have a whole lot more money in the stock market. PE ratios, a good PE ratio back in the day, I mean, when I say back in the day, I mean like 10 years ago, was $10 price to earnings. And now, if I were looking at a stock and it had a $10 PE ratio, the first question I would ask is, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this stock? That is traditionally what people think was a good, safe, long-term investment, was $10 PE ratios. And I think our grandparents are stuck on that mentality without realizing that the market has been flooded with money, and that's not a bad thing. That's not, and I'm not just talking about government money. I'm talking about our money. So $10 PE ratios, we're never going to go back to that. So are we in a bubble right now? Yes. Yes, we are. How big of a bubble is it? You've got to think about globalization. That's all I'm saying. You've got to think about the access that how many people in 1990, for example, were invested in the stock market versus today. How much money was invested in the stock market versus today. It's staggering, the difference. And so it's okay. Your grandfather's not going to be comfortable with PE ratios where they are today. But it's okay for you, because it's a sign of the times. I don't know how else to put it. All right. So yeah, we're in a bubble, and this bubble may be about to burst. I think for the next couple years, we can still ride this. I mean, Ron Paul has been saying that same thing for quite a while now, and if he pulled all his money out of the stock market, he's missed out on some tremendous gains. And so, I don't know, 2023, 2024, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to say one more thing, and it's time to go. I am a licensed realtor. I have 15 years investment experience. I am in the mortgage industry. I have experience in the mortgage industry. I know how to get your credit from non-existent to 740, which is considered excellent credit. I have a wealth of experience. I'd be happy to share that with you. So if you want to talk, let me know. Send a comment. And if you're still listening, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. All right. Have a great weekend. Merry Christmas. Be safe out there and be safe with your money. Until next time, peace.